Welcome to the show. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is Thank God It's Tuesday, 39 days away until the season opener. He's Tim Strachan.
Love that. It was perfectly timed. That was a great job. Even though you, right before we hit go, you were like, don't say this, don't say that. Here's a whole list of things you're not allowed to say. Mm-hmm. You're censoring me, and I'm having none of it. I'm just going to let it fly. You got a great show lined up. And you're not gonna spoil it.
I'm not in charge of anything. Never have been. He's Rhett Donnelly.
39 days until the NFL season, but how many days until the first preseason game?
For us?
No, for the NFL.
Oh, it's this weekend. It's Thursday night.
2 days.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. Kevin will be back.
Kevin is here.
Kevin, whoa, hey.
Kevin is here. We're not giving away anything. Hold on.
Don't spoil it.
He's Kevin Ricka.
Whoa.
And he's frozen. Kevin's frozen. Okay, now he's frozen. You froze it in the Cape May.
It was a great pose, though.
I got frosty tips. I can see him.
On the First Amendment Sports guest hotline, all the way from the Eastern Shore, Kevin Ricka joining us tonight. He will be here all evening. Just for a moment. Let's just do this.
There's a whole lot of red face right there.
There you go. Let's put this all up there for a second. We'll give you some time off camera to take sips or whatever. But Kevin's here all night. To your point, Rhett, and
that Dragon Boy. You might want to take it down a bit so you can hear your dulcet tones.
All right, let's give EO Anderson his due. EO, this is the last weekend of no football, I believe, until the bye week before the Super Bowl. That happened right now. Whatever you think about anything, you will not have an NFL free weekend until the bye week before the Super Bowl after this weekend. Because I don't believe it. I think the only game in town is Thursday night, right? No games.
Correct.
Then no games this weekend. And then for the rest of until the bye week before the Super Bowl, NFL football, wall to wall. We've made it. I'm super excited about that. That fact comes to you via New Jersey.
We made it.
Yes, we made it. We did make it. I mean,
well, okay, we got a week.
2 days to get the game in. I know how everyone has different opinions on preseason, but Aaron Rodgers,
Kevin loves him.
A future Hall of Famer, playing in Canton. I've been to that game a number of times. I love it down there. It's a cool environment. It's where football should be played. It shouldn't matter. Obviously, nobody worth $100 million or more per whatever he's making should ever put a single ounce of work in on that game.
But so I've tried to explain this before. It's not that I'm so excited for a preseason game, but I watch it for the same reason that I would always go see the first scrimmage of the Maryland, preseason. Just watch real football. An actual gameplay. Go. It's here. It's awesome. It's great. Whether you love it or don't, and you pay attention or you don't, football's here.
But that said, which is exactly how I feel, I am also the sicko. I mean, I want to see all of it. I want to see the anthem. I want to see the kickoff, the opening kickoff, which means nothing. I want to see at least in the first quarter, you get some draft picks and some young guys who have to do something. I want to see that. I want to see the referees just completely botch everything. I just want to see all of it. I want to see everything that has to do with the game.
Now you're getting a little. Okay.
I want to, because then we can talk about it. We can make fun of them.
The cheerleaders are in.
I'm not watching it for the referees, but it's
part
of the game.
Critique the flag.
Yes.
Holders too.
I'm going to critique the flag holders.
Flag runners.
Kevin knows
which officials.
You want to see which distance
penalties.
of flag throw. We do it on high school level.
I'm talking about the guys in the end zone with the flags. That we've given it after the score. You give you even.
Oh yeah, no. That's what you.
You can take
that. At St. John's, they ride they ride the flag mobile up and down the sidelines.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So Mark Bova he's perfected the flag waving. But yeah, all of it. It's a football game. It starts with the kickoff. It ends with the final whistle, and a lot of BS happens in between. No more meaningless BS than this Thursday, but it's hallowed ground. It's the Hall of Fame, and a future Hall of Famer is going to be in town. And he's making a ton of headlines. Does anyone have, Kevin, do you care to ring in on the Aaron Rodgers, Sean Payton, Coach Hackett bonanza?
I love it. It's two lunatics, ridiculous, maniacal competitors who also are a little bit off brand off the field. It just makes it fun. Do I want to weigh in? No. Everyone knows where I stand. Rogers has been just going down in my book. I don't know what's going to happen in New York City, but Payton's kind of an arrogant dude out here starting a pot like this. Let's see. He took a little shot at us, by the way, so I didn't appreciate that.
That was uncalled for.
Just slide. Just leave us out of it, dude. We've got some positive mojo. Come on, bro.
Don't take the ferry over to Jeff Fisher Island, Sean. All right, you don't want to be on that island. You want to stay on our side.
You're grossly mayonnaise all over
You'll be marooned.
Oh,
There'd be a lot of mayonnaise. It's a but yeah,
mayonnaise and a mustache would be pretty gross.
I wanted to throw. I thought about you, Kevin, because
mayonnaise, too.
Hackett's a career guy. He's been in football his whole life. His father was a football coach. He's like football put food on his table as a kid, and he takes it seriously. He said I didn't do a good job last year. I got fired. He was fired out. He said I own it. I mean, he is such a sympathetic figure, and he's been around such good products, and he's been in a career professional. I mean, it's not like a career politician who just gets keep being elected. You have to do it. You have to earn it. And he's been doing it for 40 years. He's been in it before that. So I take a little umbrage to Sean Payton going after a guy who, hey, listen, everyone knows he was 4-11. It didn't work, and he was gone, and that's the way it goes. But Sean Payton, you can't become a head coach and then still wear your TV analyst hat when you're at press conferences and like go off.
Unless you're super arrogant, and guess what? It's easy to fire bullets out of your gun when you never had Drew Brees in your holster. So take it easy, homeboy.
I also think it's a little
exactly.
sensitive. I'm not really a Peyton like supporter or anything, but it's such a cancel culture. I mean, can we stop with every little thing somebody says and make?
Whoa! We're not canceling Sean Payton. We're just saying, I'm taking Hackett's side. That's all. This is a public feud. That's all. Dude, this is an old school feud.
Payton's an ecstasy guy. Payton got caught on ecstasy 2 years ago. With one suck on, like a half chub, and some old dirty boxer shorts with someone else's last name in the tag. So just whatever.
And there's plenty of people who, especially in Denver and around Russell Wilson and certain parts of the NFL culture, that are 100% on board with Sean Payton doing what Sean Payton's doing. So
things are just going to get weird in Denver.
Well, it depends. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a great year. I mean, you could call it.
He could.
I think Sean Payton's going to get a ridiculous amount of credit, whether he deserves it or not.
All right.
Because what did he do? He kicked out, because I remember, I know this isn't the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson show, but
I was going to say,
it is.
Why are we starting off with this?
When you talk about dysfunction.
We haven't talked about this at all. You just.
Well, we follow the league, so it's football season. We can talk about football. And like last year, he was outspoken about letting, Russell Wilson have his team, on campus, throughout the week, which is something like it's like a Dan Snydery. It reminds me of the bad decisions we made. You can't, it was so bad. What did he say? He had 20 dirty hands. I mean, there's things that Sean Payton said that are 100%. You're like, yeah, of course, but you can't say it. You can't go out in public and say it. You can call it. You can call Hackett. You can have an inside conversation about it, but you can't be like, you're the worst coach of all time. How did you let this happen? Unbelievable. I think it's fun to talk about because I guarantee you, when there were fan bases doing shows about their team, they took a couple seconds every once in a while to laugh at us out loud about what the dumb stuff we were doing, charging for training camp, starting John Beck. I mean, you name it. There was no shortage of things we were doing in the league where people were like, well, at least we're not them. And I think now we can do that a couple other places.
Yeah, we were low-hanging fruit for so many years.
The lowest. Hanging lower by the year.
Yeah, I guess we maybe were the lowest at some point.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so we can spend some time once in a while.
Fruit is dangling. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, EO is asking about the rum-finished Tullamore Dew, which he's, the guy has like an eagle eye, so he can spot the bottle. Yeah. I really like it. I like Tullamore Dew a lot. And I think the rum. This is the first time I'm having the rum finished, and it's actually very, very tasty. So and it's not an expensive bottle. What's that?
I said ARG.
I'll say
that rum finished Tullamore is delicious.
Yeah, and I think that it kind of brings us back to T's question that we were talking about pre-show, and we're gonna keep on this. It's a pirate name. Dan Snyder, obviously, he's going to become a pirate. Everyone knows this.
Say it, dude.
He's going to sail international waters.
Money, right?
What?
He owes money. He said the DS word.
Oh,
that's
$1. Wait, do we say money? No.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Okay, fair enough.
$1.
That's $1.
$1. I owe $1. He's going to be a pirate. Everyone knows it. International waters, and his super yacht will be a super villain. So we're thinking of pirate names. I would like to say that we got started last week with no definitive anything. I think there were some good words that we can incorporate, like swaggler, a great word.
Swaggler.
And turd. I wanted to make sure turd was incorporated somehow. Turd beard was
He's
an
a turd
addition.
swaggler. That's what he is.
He's a turd I know, but listen, but the pirate name we haven't gotten it yet. But I think we're going to.
We guess at a pirate name.
Yeah, just guess what a pirate name.
We're trying to come up with one.
We're coming up with a pirate name. What are we going to call him from here on out?
After the Washington football team said we're going to rename ourselves, how long did they take before they settled on Commanders?
Nobody's better at renaming stuff than us.
Yeah, we got time.
We have a new name all the time. We just always have a new name.
We're great at naming stuff. A lot.
Captain.
Milky.
Shit stain.
All right.
He's left a good stain on
CMS.
24 years. And he milked his office.
Yeah,
So
I like it. I like it. Still, it doesn't necessarily incorporate the dangling, feet, 4 or 5 inches above the floor. I don't know how, stumpy.
After 12 days, I've been celebrating since the 20th, like no one's business. Yeah. And after that amount of time, that's the first thing that popped out of my brain. But I have.
I like
God bless his. And by the way, may I say this real quick? I wasn't able to be here last week. I would just like to hug everyone involved in this show. All of my brothers that I'm looking at, all of my brothers that are listening in. We did it. We did it.
Yes.
I wanted. I couldn't be here last week. I was tormented by it. I just needed my 10 seconds. He's gone.
Next week's gonna be weird when he's back in his basement.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something. I'm gonna leave him and Benjamin are gonna have a couple of moments to themselves before the show, Rhett. So
we'll move Benjamin out of the camera way.
We're moving Benjamin up to Kevin's bedroom upstairs.
Good.
Oh no! Just lie him face down across.
It's his thing.
But of course, I want to ask a question to our board. EO Anderson is on the board tonight. EO always posts from the most amazing towns. It's like he's traveling the country all the time. He's posting the restaurants and bars that he hit. So let's see. Let's give Kevin some time to reshuffle. Yeah, some privacy. I don't know. We can see him in the green room. Now you can hear him. But I don't know how he thought we wouldn't see that he wasn't wearing pants. All right, so EO.
EO's top heavy.
He is top heavy, yeah. So what are you? Do you travel for work, and is this how that happens? Or are you like a travel? Are you a travel? Are you like a guy who writes travel columns for like Travel Leisure magazine? I mean, you're always somewhere awesome, hoisting an awesome beverage with a great view. So first of all, thank you for that. I just want to throw it out there. If you don't follow EO Anderson on Twitter, he's always somewhere cool. And obviously he's our guy. So love to get some insight into that. And also segues into the one question I had. Now we're 39 days away from the regular season. We've talked about this before. Is there, and this is a question for the board, we've all talked about it already. Is there a question for the board? Is there a game that you're serious about going to? When the schedule comes out, we all have high aspirations to travel out of town. When the rubber hits the road, not so much. So are we still thinking about traveling? And EO's a great person to ask. All right, so it's camp time. We like to talk training camp, but gather around the training campfire. We have, it's not like we've been in camp for more than a week, so it's not that much we can really kind of talk about, other than we haven't suffered the fate of other unfortunate fan bases. Knock on wood. Yeah, and we're going to. Someone's going to get hurt. You just got to, that's how it works, and it sucks. And hope guys can get back. God, I hope Jalen Ramsey gets healthy. Not that I'm want to be a Miami Dolphins fan, but he is so good and so fun to watch. I would love to see him get back on the field. Who is there anyone else? I'll throw Kevin on for this one. Is there anyone else of the injuries we've had preseason so far that's made you like the most kind of like, damn it? Jalen Ramsey was mine.
Yeah.
That was a tough. Listen, man. My son's a young 13-year-old kid who loves the game, and Joe Burrow is a guy that we have decided that someone we it's not a bad guy to emulate. You know, where he comes from, how he treats his teammates, his workout regimen, how he keeps his stuff off social media. Like, we love the dude. Seeing him come up with that calf hit me. I know he's all right, but I want him to be all right. Joe Burrow is a stud, man.
And he's had a couple dances with the injury bug.
Yep.
And he also has a
third preseason with a little bit of the injury bug. Yeah.
And he's
Or maybe he gets it out of the way and then he's good for the rest of the season because he's played.
Well, I would not.
game.
Yeah, but I would never.
He's
take
played
a
every
snap.
game.
I would not take a snap.
He's going to be sitting in a bubble. He's
If
going to
I'm
be
Joe
bubble.
Burrow.
He's going to be bubble boy for the
He
rest of the
hasn't
month.
Until
sat
week
out.
one.
He's played every game, I think.
I know. But these are the preseason worries. Guys like him. I just can't wait to watch him play for one more second.
He did.
I want to put him in the ice box until September. So.
We took him out. Chase Young
That's
destroyed
right.
him.
Chase Young hit him in the last
decided
week.
his season was over.
That is true.
On
Broke
one
his
play.
rib or something, right?
Yeah, and he's also had a knee injury, I think, at some point as well. So, but the big thing about Joe Burrow is he's got a record deal coming his way. He will be the highest paid player of all time when he signs his deal, whenever that is. And it's fascinating to me. Cincinnati has been around forever. They're an old school. They've been around. They're not new on the job. They've been cheap forever. They don't like to spend money, and they've been very, very open and honest about that. And so it'll be interesting to see how that works out because, and we don't have to get into like whether guys should hold out or not, but at the end of the day, like when he was like hopping on one leg towards the sideline that got down, I was like that could be like a $400 million injury. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's insane. That is absolutely unbelievable to me. He needs to get his money. I know everyone is in his ear. This is like, okay, how about this? Forget about like who cares about billionaire owners and who cares about, ultimately Joe Burrow is going to be just fine in life. Think about all the people around Joe Burrow right now that are whispering to him, like agents, managers, friends, family. Oh my gosh, the calls that he's getting, the text, the conversations that he has to have, where he's probably like, I'm done with it. Like I don't want to. He's like, I'm Joe Burrow. I'm going to play football for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sure he's that guy. I'm sure he gives two craps. Ultimately, he wants to play football. But a lot of people around him want that $400 million.
Right. You like when you watch the show Quarterback and how like these guys have hired chefs. Some of them even like boyhood friends of theirs are now their personal chefs, and their lives and their wife and their children's lives all depend upon this one person, performing at the highest levels of all levels and sustaining it so that they could all eat. It's crazy.
Well, it does sound.
When you look at it from that perspective, though, imagine being that guy who, your best friends and his family are dependent upon whether you stay healthy and can have longevity in the NFL.
I know it doesn't seem fair. It's also like it's like a ludicrous amount of money. None of us. It's a whole different universe. If one guy signs a contract for example, Deshaun Watson, or Kyler Murray,
one day.
You're gonna get there.
get time.
Justin Herbert, all these guys. You just stroke your name, and you're making $100+ million. That's funny money in like the truest sense. Plus, all right. So let's transition away a little bit from Joe Burrow and that.
Get there.
We're gonna. Well, you know me. First, I want to be a junior golfer. I still haven't become a junior golfer yet. At some point, I will become a junior golfer. Yes, I will, Kevin. You can't. You're not the boss of me. I think I can pull it off.
I thought you were going for professional Beirut.
I'm already professional Beirut, and I can, but it pays very poorly.
But there's only one Beirut player that you've never defeated.
I know.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
I'm 3 in a lifetime versus Ken. Just saying.
It's on my record. It's on my record. There's very few people that can say that, and Kevin, I say that about Kevin. Yeah. What? What do you
We
got?
also have a tremendous record as partners. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's not by accident. You do your best to become teammates with the guy you've never beaten. That's rule number one of teammating.
Of course. And vacation.
And vacationing. That's right.
So what Ken's saying is,
And you can't stand the smell of your own farts. That's all.
what Ken's saying is that he's let you win all three, so that when you are partners, you feel more, better about
More
yourself.
complete.
Don't listen to
Ken
him.
is the
he's saying.
Buffalo Bills.
That's what he told me
apparently, of
off
this rivalry.
I'm Buffalo Bills. I'm not even Buffalo Bills. I'm the Washington Generals of this rivalry. He's the
Ken's the one seed. I'm the two, and I'm the 15 or 16. It's just that random time when
George Mason makes the Final Four.
the freedom fighter. What was his name? I love him. He was like 28. He'd fought in the Iraq War, and he dominated to get his team to the Final Four.
I can't pull the name. I was watching it live in Virginia down in like Middleburg, but I saw a cool stat, and I wish I had pulled it up for the show, and I didn't, so it's my fault. But in the wake of all this running back stuff and like who wants to pay running backs, and it was talking about the guaranteed money per position, and so like guaranteed money for running backs is it's like tens of millions of dollars, right? Guaranteed money for defensive linemen is a couple $100 million. Wide receivers, like $500 million, and then quarterbacks. The guaranteed money for quarterbacks is like it's like $1.7 billion or something like that. Guaranteed money to quarterbacks is not even close to like the next one. I mean, this isn't a comment on what's right or what's wrong. It's just a crazy amount of money. That I was thinking about that when these guys who are.
Look at what they do.
I know, but
Starting against $500 million more than he makes in this upcoming season.
Yes, and Kevin, you for the money standpoint, but also the 14 quarterbacks that we're facing this year, starting with Colt McCoy, this is not murderer's row. I mean, I in my opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback. I mean, it's not a hard thing to say. I think he's the best quarterback we're going to play all year, late in the season. No, you think so? Or
who?
I agree. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. We can make fun of his.
But I'm saying we're playing Matthew Stafford. That was like one of the next levels down. I mean, we're not playing all of the big guys. We're not playing Joe Burrow. We're not playing
Josh Allen.
Right. We're not playing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Herbert. Yeah.
We like it's a again, and also the list as it is now is not the list as we all know this. We're going to play different guys than the 14 we have written down. But
Yeah, that's the best part.
Colt McCoy in week one. So before I want to get to camp talk, but I wanted to just do a peak job on week one, because I know we always start the show with how many days we are away. Don't you peek, Kevin?
Have you put
no
it up?
peeking.
I don't know if you put it up.
Hold up. You just made it sound like you snuck up around the NFL house at like 2 in the morning, and there was a curtain open, and you.
You're the only one who knows.
It's just peeking. No one knows. We're just peeking. Everyone keep it to themselves. Arizona in week one is. I don't want to make this a one game season, and I think we've been guilty of this in the past. I'm just getting so excited about playing a terrible team, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, we have to play 16 more of these games, and we're done with the Cardinals. We don't get them a single other time all year. I mean, it's.
Ken, may I?
Yes, please.
The Cardinals are the only team in the NFL that Vegas has predicted to be favored in 0 games.
Yes, exactly.
It almost is a 1 game season.
It feels. I'm looking at it I'm tailgating for it now. It's like when we know the team's gonna be on the clock for the draft 6 months out, and you're just I'm ready for it. I'm tailgating for this game, and when it's over, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's and that's just week one.
It's a week one because we'll be 1-0, and then wait for week 2.
I know, but I also know based on my experience.
We over-celebrated last year's week 1 win.
We over-celebrate 1-0. We've been the kings of over-celebrating 1-0.
Yeah.
The kings. Like when we were 1-0 against the Cardinals, because we're in it every day. We do this every Tuesday night. We talk about our guys. We know everyone. And when we win that one game, it doesn't matter. On Monday morning, we're 1-0. Who cares that it was the Cardinals? And we're we're 1-0. We got something going on. And wait,
damn straight.
You basically played like a AFL team in week one, and we've been doing that a lot, and we talked about that. But I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. We got to get through the preseason. So let's talk a little training camp. Let's see.
Get ready for these hard-hitting questions, Kev.
Hard hitting. Okay, so here's how I want to frame it up on the show tonight for Camp Talk. Most important thing you've learned so far in 1 week, and the most important thing you still need to learn, you still want sifted out, something that's unsettled that you need to get settled, and everyone gets to take one at a time. You can answer either one of those questions, and here's what we're not going to say. The most important thing you still need to learn can't be Sam Howell.
Right.
We already know he's going to get live bullets against the college team from Phoenix, and we'll see how he does in that first game. And by the way, when Sam Howell is 2-0 against the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals, we're gonna feel a way. We're gonna feel a certain way. We're gonna have to get over it pretty fast because I'm just saying, it's the Arizona Cardinals. All right, so Kevin, as our guest, you get to choose first. Now you can either tell us the most important thing you've learned so far, or you can tell us the most important thing you still want to be taught.
What I've learned so far is evident. Our front four and our defense is the guts, the heart and soul of our franchise is what we got. Our big four dudes. How about Montez and Chase Young going and training in the offseason with Larry Johnson?
Yeah.
Larry Johnson, a legendary McDonald High School coach, T.C. Williams, head football coach, two local high schools in this area before the early 90s when we went to Penn State and Ohio State eventually. One of the greatest recruiters in the area. He was in my dad's office nonstop in the 90s, and it was super cool to have a guy like that in the office because that meant someone was getting an offer from Penn State and then eventually Ohio State. Chase Young calls him Mr. Miyagi, took him himself and Montez had to visit him this offseason. Mr. Miyagi has had 3 rookies of the year, both Moses and Chase Young. Larry Johnson's a historical figure. What I've learned about Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and our two defensive ends is that's who the hell we are.
Yeah.
This is where the franchise is headed towards. And I think that became super evident right off the jump this week, the way Ron Rivera's been talking and the way those guys showed up at camp.
And Kevin, last week we missed you, the one thing I said last week about this front four is there's absolutely a future where we're paying both Chase Young and Montez Sweat $20 million a year. That future 100% exists, and it does rely somewhat upon Sam Howell being a guy we can depend on as a starter.
100%.
Then all of a sudden you have some money to spend. But when you call yourselves when this is who you say you are, and you have those 4 guys in front, you're not wasting money at any spot. Like you're not throwing anything away, and you're saying this is what we do. Everything is built around it. So that to me, because the coach has been talking about it, Ron talked about it, Jack talked about it. What are they? Tone setters, right? Like that what you said last week. Those are the tone setters. It's Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne first, Montez and Chase right there with them.
They're the backbone, the heart and soul, and specifically, Sam Howell allows us to do this on paper.
I mean, that's why there's so much riding on his ability to succeed. So, and he's got
$1 million man. I can't wait to root for this all year. I've said it over and over. So fun.
Yep.
So it's going to be so fun. He's going to have his lumps, but it's going to be so fun to root for a guy like this. But let's keep this conversation going. I think I throw it off by 2 seconds.
Rhett, you get to decide. You can tell us the most important one thing you've learned in camp, very specific, or very specific one thing you still want to learn.
All right, what I've learned, and I might go 2 things.
No, it's got to be. You can't do 2 things. You got to go one.
One's team related, one's player.
So many
all right,
No,
fine.
you got to pick one.
All right, the secondary. All right, what I've learned, the secondary. All right, when you talk about the most impressive player so far of the camp, Emmanuel Forbes has been one of the top 5 guys that I've seen.
And it's Emmanuel Forbes. Be specific to the player. You can't just take a whole.
Listen,
I mean, you're going you're
the thin
tilting
pickings.
the T.
All right, fine. It's Emmanuel Forbes, and
Yeah,
it's
there
how
you go.
psyched I am for this secondary this year. In this league, you got to pass. You got to defend the pass. I was a little skeptical when we drafted him in the first round, but it seems like he's going to be a player.
All right, so Emmanuel Forbes, the thing you've learned is that he is for real.
He's the real deal.
He's going to be a starting cornerback on our team, and that is a big deal.
Correct. Huge deal.
The The most important thing you've learned, or the most important thing that you've yet
Since
to learn?
both have gone what they've learned, I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay, what's the thing
most
that
important thing I haven't learned, and we won't know this until at least after the first preseason game, is how well is Eric Bieniemy's offense fitting in to this personnel, and how are they picking it up? And we can read all that we need to read from day 1 and day 2 and day 6 and all this stuff. But until it's real out on the field at full speed, seeing how this is all coming together, that we haven't learned it yet. I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to see what it looks like. That's not supposed to be a negative. It's just we haven't seen it yet in its full, display. And until we see that, it's gonna be awesome when we do. Hopefully. But I think that's the one kind of question, at least on the offensive side of the ball, that we're still waiting.
New offense.
Waiting to happen. Yes.
Yet another, the language, the execution. The cool thing about that is, we said it before he got there, he's a disciplinarian. He's a attention to details guy. You do it wrong, you do it again. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It's not that he's going to chew you out necessarily, but he's going to
that
be.
works when you win.
Well,
When
but
you
the thing
win,
is,
doesn't
it might
work
get
when
tiring.
you don't.
but it works now because he has one. He's a Super Bowl coach who's coached Patrick Mahomes. He has the credibility at this moment to say whatever he is on his mind, and everyone's going to be like, well, okay, yeah. But we have to win for him to continue that. But Kevin, what were you going to say?
I just want to say this: the autonomy of EB is what I think what he's getting at.
Yes, you're right. Exactly.
What I love, what I witnessed this week from the Eastern Shore here, with feet in the sand, staring out of the Atlantic, is this is not a Patrick Mahomes thing. We've seen that little underhand shovel pass that they've kind of invented off a little fake handoff action, right back under shovel pass, sprint out, shovel underneath. We have seen the no look stuff. A lot of people thought, is that just Patrick Mahomes doing artistic, crazy stuff because he's so amazing? But
some of
there's an Andy Reid to it, and EB's bringing that right here because this week I've seen 3 separate throws with Sam Howell, eyeballing receiver and going off point guard style, which is his style, man. When we talk about the RPOs, but then the no look, and then we saw today the little underhanded shovel. So this is not specific to Pat Mahomes. EB, I've learned. The autonomy of this offense is his. Ron Rivera says run first, but EB, you go do your thing. And I think that's what I'm picking up. It's going to be more of EB's offense than Ron Rivera's offense. It's kind of what I'm gathering.
Oh, I think it's 100% EB's offense. I think that's how we got him. I think that's how we got him to sign here and do the thing. And EB took a huge gamble on Sam Howell. This is the way the team has. So he's come in and he's lining it up. But I mean, you guys. Kevin and T know this better than anyone. The game of football, people who get to be the coach on the sideline, there's so much responsibility and accountability that during the week and when you're teaching and coaching, this is the way you're going to do it. That's the guy you're throwing to on this play. Blah 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 blah. The improvisation of a guy like Patrick Mahomes and special players in the league is one thing, but I think the evolution of offense in the NFL is ultimately going to be about this kind of relationship between a coach and a player, where the coach is like, "Hey, listen, here's what's happening. These 3 guys, one guy's gonna be here, one guy's gonna be here. You take a couple steps here and make a call. You know what I mean? Like the ball is in your hand, and there's a trust factor, and there's a
the bond.
The bond, and you guys both know you've had coaches probably who told you, "I want this," and you probably had a coach that said, "Do what you see."
So Kevin's been a coordinator. I have not. Kevin's called plays. I have not. I've been an analyst, and I can only imagine, Kevin, you can speak to this as the coordinator, but even as an analyst, like every year I did Maryland, people would say, "How's Maryland going to be this year?" And you're like, "You don't know. You don't know until that first game.
Yeah,
you're not really sure." And then to have had an experience where, I watched what Ralph Friedgen did, and your perspective of how that offense operated for those first 3 years, especially of his tenure, it was totally different from anything I had ever experienced. And I'm sure, Kevin, the same thing is true from a coordinator standpoint. But even when you think you're in charge, you really don't know, right? Until that first game.
No, how about this? No shit. So that first game, I don't care who you are.
That's right.
And Terry McLaurin's quote today to the media was, sometimes not knowing could be a great thing because, we've thought in years past, you're always hyped up this time of year. You're looking forward to that. But he said right now, not knowing could be a great thing. He's out there doing different things, and he feels like they're doing them well, but he doesn't know how that goes up when it gets down to when it's time to go and get battle tested. But if Rhett and Ken can just walk out in front of each other's house aimlessly for like however long you guys did it over the pandemic, and now sitting next to each other at a podcast, like so close, looking like great together, with you there, keep you together.
Well, they've been
That's
texting
how the
each other.
relationships grow. Is Eric the enemy, and Sam Howell going to be Rhett and Ken? Or is Steve Strack going to be screaming for the new neighbor to get off his lawn? I don't know. And I'm
there's
just
a
want to
dog
be there
pooping. He does have a dog pooping on his shirt.
I do. Yeah.
On his
That's an
lawn.
intimidation factor on the streets. Just telling you where we're from. That shows dominance, right?
Listen, there's so many ways for Sam Howell to provide value to this team. I'm not trying to divert from that at all. There's so many ways Sam Howell can provide value to this team, in that not just on the salary cap
Shit
side.
on your house, man.
He should.
I'll shoot over the podcast. Shit right now. And then
If Sam Howell can take the plays and like make plays like point guard style, like that's
That's all he needs to do.
That is, I mean, I'm telling you right now, he will make. What's that? Yeah, we know that it's hot wired. It's hot wired in his psyche. He wants to go deep. He wants to push the ball, and so there's always that push to it. And we know there's quarterbacks who are not wired that way. Plenty of them. We had one who played for us, who's a professional quarterback. We just had a show made about him, and he'll be one of the richest guys that's ever come out of the league. Kirk Cousins. He's not looking to push the ball deep. He's looking to do other things. There's
No, he looks to push it. There was an actual part in quarterback where they were like, "We're going to let you lose," because he wasn't sure. Yes, he can't. I gained a lot of respect for him.
it's not about disrespect.
I still think he's a complete nerd, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
I gained a lot of respect for the way he prepares, the way
You missed this last week,
he
Kevin.
gets his body in shape. The pounding he took, especially from
The pounding.
Duran,
We talked a lot about the
especially
pounding.
He's
from
pushing it
Duran
deep.
Payne.
The pounding from
which was
pain. The painful
unbelievable.
pounding. You need me to take you off the screen for a sec, Kev? Are you good?
But I still don't think he's going to win it all.
Apparently, all that pounding got to my laptop.
All right, don't. T, stop pounding Kevin's laptop.
I know.
We all agree. We all have a great respect.
I only know one way.
We all have a great respect for Kirk Cousins.
Go hard, man.
And I'm just saying. I also think you can make a ton of money and be a very successful quarterback in this league.
He left.
Well, that's okay. We can
Bye,
just do
Kev.
that. He'll come back. We'll see him. We'll see him in the green room.
No.
If you have a guy who wants to who wants to turn wide receivers into possession sticks, and just move the ball down the field all day long. And I'm not knocking Kirk Cousins. I just think that Kirk Cousins is going to take things, and you know what? He's going to be very successful doing it. But I think Sam Howell could be very unsuccessful, just deciding to push. Rex. I'm not talking about Rex Grossman style, because that's the other end of it. I mean, you're just like, F it, I'm going deep. That was.
That's what I heard Peyton Manning tell Scott McBride.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds of meeting him, this was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But the first thing out of Peyton's mind, this is when Scott was in camp in Green Bay with Tim Couch at the time. They were getting all the reps because Brett Favre wasn't there. And Peyton said, "That's great. Hey, listen, when you got 4 going deep, sometimes you just got to let it go. They're professionals too. Sometimes you just got to let it go. And let them do their job." And I was like, "Holy crap!" And then he went on a complete it was unbelievable. But that was the first thing out of his mind. Sometimes you got to believe. Sam Howell in particular has got to.
We got the guys.
These guys are also professionals. I've got to let them do their job.
Yes, but there's also the notion that there's $1.6 billion locked up at the quarterback position, and the easiest way to make that, once you get to the point where you are actually a professional quarterback in the league and you get a chance, if you throw 6-yard passes, you can make at least $2 or $3 million a year doing nothing but that, and then all of a sudden you could also probably be a $40 or $50 million quarterback. I think Sam Howell is going to err on the side of throwing it deep sometimes, and it remains to be seen if that's going to work for us. I think it can, and I think that it's a. I mean, you know me. My number one of all time is Brett Favre. And sorry, I'm gonna bring Kevin back. He's let's see. Let's go. My number one is Brett Favre, and I like that. That's my buoy, Kev. That's my like the Brett Favre line of pushing it deep. It's a fine line, right?
It was for that lady Jen. What's her name? Reporter.
Sturzer or Stolzer. Or,
there's photographic evidence of him not pushing it deep.
He was pushing the all the way.
Cause a ruckus coming back in, but I just wanted to say this about Kirk Cousins.
There you go. Let's give him full.
He's a silent fart at church, and it smells like it's not funny. Like no one has a good time. At the end of the day, you're like,
you know, full screen for this.
I mean, we're not in trouble, but it stinks. You know.
Well, Kev,
did you really go for that?
Well, for a church fart story, I had higher hopes.
No, I'm saying. It was just a comparison. No, church fart stories are hysterical. That's why I say he's the type of guy that farts silently at church, and it stinks. You're like, nothing was funny about this, and I'm
whereas what you're saying is Sam Howell will let it rip. It doesn't stink, and then he'd walk out confident and be like, that was cool as shit.
It rings louder than the church bell, sir. And you walk out of there, and everyone's like, hey, you got a loud ass fart?
You'll own it.
You're goddamn right you did.
It's my stink.
Who could forget?
It's my stink. Get used to it.
I think we'll be happy to see that there's a difference between Sam Howell and Kirk Cousins. I love the draft pick of Kirk Cousins. You know, obviously the RG3 draft was I did not do that. Oh, we lost Kevin. He'll come back. We'll get him back. Kirk Cousins could have been just fine for us forever. Didn't happen for us. He's doing well in Minnesota. Good on him.
Great for Minnesota.
Great for Minnesota.
Better for us.
He's doing okay.
I think there's gonna.
Better for us.
I think there's gonna be a visible
he
difference.
I don't think
he will
get
not.
over the hump, but
You'll be able to see the difference between Kirk Cousins and
what he's done has already been amazing, given the uphill battle he had to get there. I mean, Jesus. Give the guy a little credit. But
all right, so
I don't want to hang out with him.
Kevin's gonna miss this, but now I get to go. The most important thing I've learned so far, or the most important thing I still need to learn, and I get to go back to back, the draft style.
Okay.
Snake draft.
I didn't announce that in the beginning, but we're just gonna make that a thing now. The most important thing I still need to learn is how many days or months Jamin Davis will have to spend in jail before he can play for us.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned.
Don't drive fast in Virginia.
That one's gotten weird.
He's
gonna get more than freaking Everett got. I mean,
well, he like accepted a 8 days in jail situation, and that got thrown out. Right, the judge was like,
it's not good enough.
Yeah, the judge
was
like,
facing
no.
30 right now, which could
30 days.
Yeah,
I know he needs to get in there today. I mean, it's August 1st. We need to get those 30 days out of the way. We can. Okay, now let's skip past the serious part about it.
The one position group that could.
I know
use,
exactly.
Right.
That's why I'm so. That's why his case is so important. Until we know what's happening, because we are so short on linebackers.
Get him a driver. You're not allowed to drive.
It's
it's be driven everywhere you go.
There's so I just want to say it because other people have said it too, and I've been saying everyone's been saying it. Like it's beyond stupid. Don't go 140 miles an hour in a 45. Don't. I mean,
he has the money to go pay to do that at a track where it's allowed.
It's at some point it becomes a little bit of a middle finger to the community when they're like, we're like paying to go to watch your games. We love you. We think you're great. We want you to succeed. We hope you make a ton of money playing football for the Washington team forever.
Yeah, but great perspective.
But don't speed through our neighborhoods like at 140 miles an hour and 45s, especially when you were part of a situation where someone died.
You're endangering your own fans, buddy.
It's I know. It's bad enough when we do it. When the fans do it, it's bad enough.
It's bad enough Ken, rolling through our neighborhood at 114.
But don't be like the guy that we want to hang your jersey on our bar walls and root for. But
that's why I'm a speed limit guy.
Always a speed limit guy. That's why I like driving with you.
Or below.
Man, I wish I'll text Kevin, make sure he's still a bit available.
Yeah, that is the one position group that we cannot afford some sort of mistake.
Nope. He's out. Computer done. We got everything out of that computer that we were going to get. everything out of it. And I would have loved
What
to
an
have heard him.
abrupt ending.
Yep.
That's all right.
Yes.
Well, he told his church, fart story. So
Well, that's true.
He went out on a
You got
church
it.
fart story.
Yep.
Good for you,
the
Kev.
George Costanza.
Absolutely.
Get the Mike Utley. All right, so figuring out, like, I know it's not football related, but for us, it's extremely football related. Understanding his fate. He's so important to our team for so many reasons. He still is in his third year, not breaking the bank. He's playing middle linebacker or whatever, one of our 1 or 2 linebacker positions. He's a first round talent. He evolved last year. He's trending up in terms of how he's playing. Like, we can't afford, like, we literally cannot afford to lose this season, and he just can't lose time. I don't know how it's going to work out, but Ron Rivera has been very supportive. I'm sure there's people in the background being like, dude, you just can't be a moron. You gotta smarten up.
They got to learn at some point.
I know.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
all these guys doing this stuff is putting their careers in jeopardy. I mean, anything you say these days, much less do,
Yep.
can get you just erased.
There's a spectrum there. I think, and thank goodness no one was hurt, and hopefully they can come to a reasonable conclusion. All right, so that's the thing that I still need to learn. Need to learn how and when and where Jamin Davis will be in the beginning of September. Most important thing that I have learned in only 1 week of football camp. Not a lot. Obviously, we've already knocked on a lot of wood. This is real wood, by the way. It's good to knock on.
Yeah.
It's good luck. Don't be
Things started
bashful.
changing for the better once this got here.
What? Thank you. Hey, that's
I've been here.
That's a super big time awesome observation. So the thing that I've learned so far is that I want to make sure I follow my own advice, right, and get like super specific. I don't want to take away some things from you guys since you got to close this out. And you guys have talked a lot about or you and Kevin talked a lot about the defense, and you talked about the Eric Bieniemy stuff. I guess I would say what I've learned so far is that there's like a path forward with Sam Cosmi and Andrew Gates and Wiley on that side of the line, and that if it kind of falls into the things I need to learn more about as well. But ultimately, it's not a failed experiment out of the gate. Sam Cosmi is being asked to be a little bit more of a dancing bear than he was, as a tackle. And in Eric Bieniemy's offense, the guards are really asked to be athletic and agile, and a little bit more finesse than physical. Although you can't, it's a laughable thing to say because playing guard in the National Football League is one of the most physical things anyone can do. But Sam Cosmi at right guard, how about that? Well, the thing I've learned so far, Sam Cosmi at right guard could be a thing. He's shown some footwork early. Shows that he cares about it and he wants to succeed at it. He's a tackle. Came up as a tackle, but this might be his path forward. And if he can become that and embrace that and be strong at that, like that's a huge thing for us for a million reasons. But having a guy you drafted on the offensive line was one of the most important spots on the field, who can continue to start, continue to get good minutes. God, he's so big and strong. If he can play guard well, that's just so huge for us.
Well said.
T,
No, that's great. The line is the biggest question.
Yeah.
I know we keep talking about linebacker and stuff like that, but in my mind, the biggest question mark right now still is line. That goes into what I said earlier about what I haven't learned is that how is this all going to come together?
Yep.
It looks great on paper. It looks good on day 6, scripted. Down at the goal line, and everybody oohed and nod over the shovel pass touchdown. But it's all a different thing when you're in the trenches and the team across from you is coming at you with everything that you've got to go right at them with. So I'm with you there. The thing that I've learned And I want to keep it as simple as I know Kevin went into a little bit more depth than Chase Young and Sweat's offseason and all that. I've learned for years that you don't believe or take everything that you read about training camp and what's coming out every day with, just read it, kind of be like, that's good, that's bad, okay, whatever. What I've learned is that the reporters have definitively said Chase Young looks and he looks
here
right.
we go. I like it.
He looks right.
Let's go.
He's got a burst. He looks like the guy that he was when he showed up without a brace. And as a former DeMatha guy who wants nothing but for him to succeed and succeed here with our team as the highest draft pick on the squad right now, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear because I have faith that he's going to be the guy that's going to go out there and prove he is the beast that he is. And
he's got a lot of reasons, a lot of incentives.
This is just feeding into the optimism that I think we all need to have right now. There's absolutely nothing to be down on, nothing to be discouraged about. I have all the optimism in the world that Chase Young is going to show what he's capable of doing this year.
And let me break. So I've been trying to think. You set me off on this one, T. I was trying to think of what my next thing would be that I would say is going to happen. That I'm reading tea leaves. I'm telling you, we've been out front of a lot of things. Obviously, in the sale, but and the team, the stadium coming to RFK. We've already told you all that's going to happen. But here's what I'm going to tell you something that's going to happen before it happens. That's not necessarily that you think is going to happen. Chase Young will sign a long-term contract with this team before free agency. Before I think it's possible that it could happen sometime during the season. But potentially, I think that they're going to that Josh Harris, based on his play this year, this is my belief as well, T. Based on the fact that you have a first-round draft pick that you didn't exercise the fifth-year option on, you know what that's worth. It's like $17, $18 million. You know what these players are getting paid, $19, $20, $21 million a year. There's not a whole lot of nuance in terms of bringing in defensive ends. You're not going to guarantee yourself that much more money by going to free agency. I mean, Chase Young could ultimately say, I'm just going to go to free agency and get the best offer. I'm basing what I'm saying right now on the fact that he's from here, that he played in the shadow of FedEx Field for his high school football games, that he went to DeMatha, that he likes the area, that he's being treated right, and that there's a new owner who's going to make him a fair offer. His agent will be like, yeah, I mean, you could make a couple extra $1 million waiting to free agency, or you could just sign this deal now. I'm telling you, I think that's going to happen. I think Chase Young is going to have the kind of 10, 11, 12 games to start the season where you're going to be like, yeah, that was defensive rookie of the year. That's the guy who actually impacted the outcome of games. That there was a difference between winning and losing multiple times. And I think you sign that guy. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there's anything that doesn't allow you, prohibits you
from signing something
like that.
I mean, I would have disagreed with you vehemently a few months ago because I thought the relationship was completely fractured. They didn't give him the 5th year. They don't believe in him. That narrative.
And it was Ron, and Ron did that, and Ron's still here. So it's not you can't take that on Captain. Of
course,
Hornswoggle.
I think the new ownership. I think the excitement around the team may have changed that for sure. I just would have disagreed with you completely a few months ago. Even if he had a 15-sack season, I still think he would have gone to free agency.
But now,
we'll see.
I know now we'll see.
It's
a
just
change.
Different. It's different.
It is different. If you've been watching, thank God it's Tuesday. We would appreciate a subscription and a like. What does it cost you? A little click of the finger. Now we don't even know what. I mean, it's free. It's all free. It's between you and Google. It just shows up as a single digit for us. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on Tuesday nights. Rhett, you get to close it off. Now, you did the most important thing you learned. Is there something that you're desperate?
Well, two things. I know
we
we only have one. No,
it's just one thing.
First of all,
two things.
Number one, you need to Google Dancing Bear and make sure you don't say that on the air anymore.
No. I understand. but dancing bear is a circus term, and it's about
Number
about
two,
bears.
what I need to learn is where the fan base is. Everybody is so excited right now. The new ownership, if you look at the training camp crowds,
great.
they just blow last year, 2 years out of the water. It's
B-E-A-R, not B-A-R-E, B-E-A-R.
B-E-A-R, yeah.
Yeah, you want that in your search history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure you're on private browsing, by the way.
Seriously?
What I need to learn is if they
Oh,
go,
thank
hopefully they beat the Cardinals. But if they're a 1-2, 1-3 team, are the fans still going to be as pumped up and they're going to be at the games like everybody said they were for so many years? If Dan finally sells,
You've been talking about this.
There's $1
Ever since Harris
If
hit.
the former owner sells the team, we are going to be in 100%. Everybody talks about
You're-
that, and
you're
everybody
true
at
to
the
your
training
word.
camp is. I want to make sure that this is a real, this is a real thing. They go out, they support the team the first game. I assume it's going to be sold out. Everybody's going to be
You
pumped
said
up.
you're going.
And we're
You
gonna
can't
play
get a
it.
ticket.
We're gonna
And
play
I-
the worst team in like a rolling multiple year
They,
span.
they could not be set up more to be successful. But moving forward,
the only
are they
thing is
gonna
that they'll
as-
be healthy. That's the only thing we're gonna be able to say good about the Cardinals in week one.
they will be
But
healthy.
what Rhett is touching on here is that so many people are going to come out in so much overwhelming support.
I know it's gonna
that
just
the Cardinals,
gush.
the
A
Cardinals,
gusher.
although healthy, are going to be scared. They're going to be scared.
Of course. I just want to make sure
Really
everybody's
scared.
going to be there game 2, game 3, game 4
That's
moving
what Rhett's
forward.
saying.
And it's not
I
just
agree.
we're an event town sometimes. I don't want it just to be, we got a new owner, let's support them.
I
and then it
know.
just-
The
it
Cardinals are
drags
going
on
to
because
understand.
This is going to take a few
You're
years. to
saying
make
we need
sure
some
we're
fan
gonna be
fan Viagra to last us for like a 17-week fan Viagra pill. We just
I
can't
don't
be
need any Viagra.
We can't just do it. We do a week 1 scenario. We can't just be done that
Don't
early.
knock it until you try it, dude.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure all this
saying.
enthusiasm and excitement
I know
carries
you
What's
want to
the
be all
fan
like,
Viagra?
I don't need that.
I don't
fan,
need that.
You know what the fan Viagra is?
Hey, green
A
eggs and ham.
playoff team.
No. That's not fan Viagra.
Green eggs and ham, dude. Green eggs
Dude.
and ham. Don't knock it until you try it.
I'm just saying, Rhett, fan Viagra. You're not playoff team. That might be a girl you marry. Just saying. Just take it easy over here.
I just want to make sure we are as excited week 2, week 3 as we are right now. Because this is gonna take some time.
Of course, Greg calls me out and because he's late. By the way, you're late, but I also know he was busy tonight. If by healthy you mean missing starting quarterback, yes, missing starting quarterback, but there's no way Kyler Murray plays this season. I think they give him the year off. They might let him play a couple downs.
That's a great point by Greg.
Maybe a kicker, maybe a holder.
They're healthy except for their starting quarterback.
They don't want him. I don't know. I guess they don't want him to be destroyed at any point. But I mean, if they're going to be the number 1 team, so here's the thing: the Cardinals are either drafting Caleb Williams, and I think that's a 97% chance, or 3% chance they get a RG3 style trade for Caleb Williams, which I ultimately don't want to be a part of. I just don't. I mean, I'm
as an NFL GM? What do you mean you don't want to be a part of?
I don't want to be the team that trades up
He
for
doesn't want the
RG3 again.
Commanders to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. You give up too much. Damn it! And I want Caleb Williams, and I want him on our team bad. But I just I don't know.
Well, we got
You
Sam Howell.
might not be saying that
We have Sam Howell.
after this year.
Again, so many ways Sam Howell can change all aspects of our entire narrative by playing well this year.
It's a lot of pressure.
No pressure, Sam.
No pressure, Sam. No pressure, Sam.
You
And
know
I mean,
what?
'cause
Everything
he's
I've heard
listening.
is that he's a cool customer.
Yes,
Well,
he gives
it's not
two
getting
Fs.
to
Well, one, you've heard it because it's been written about, but
Yeah.
two, I saw it.
He's a player.
I saw it in the Cowboys game,
Yeah.
and I saw how his teammates saw it after he ran the ball, or the swagger he had. Dude,
I love it.
he's got it. He's got it.
It's going to be fun. I'm very high on Sam Howell, and not just because of July 1st. I think in general, I think Sam Howell is going to be a player. But I also have to say, for the next 39 days, I think we all agree, I'm never going to get animated or my tail feathers in a ruffle about the conversation because
When your tail feathers get ruffled, look
dude,
out.
You think my tail feathers are ruffled?
Whoa.
You'd be like, wait, there's more ruffling. They can
Then he
ruffle
goes
some more.
then he goes bare knuckle boxing on you.
Oh, it's
Old
it's
school
old
style,
school
'cause
ruffling.
His feathers are ruffled.
I don't know how good Sam Howell will be in the NFL. Book it. But I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to be able to start in this league. But until we see him do it, you gotta, as Chris Wallace, aka the notorious B.I.G., said famously, "Show me, homie." That's what it all comes down to. He's got to do it, and he's got to do it starting week 1. This is what we miss with Kevin farting out, and I'm going to need some help from the board. NES, Tecmo, EO, Greg Martin, anyone else here coming in? Huh?
We got more?
We got one more segment.
Oh.
One more segment.
Ooh.
And this is
Is it the Dancing Bear segment?
It's a throwaway Dancing Bear segment. This is going to be quick. This is not meant to be anything major, except for camp movies. Movies that feature camp. Any kind of movie that you ever watched.
No, this is
that
easy.
anyone was at camp.
So easy.
We're going to do a quick draft. We're just going to do rapid fire. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like the movie doesn't have to be about camp. They just went to camp. Someone camped. There was some camping involved. That's it. That's all it takes to qualify for this draft. Number 1 draft pick. If you guys want to give, I will be glad to go first, unless someone wants to claim the first pick.
Yeah, I want to go first.
Take it away. First pick.
By the way, you did not give us any sort of information about this.
Zero. Zero.
The number 1 pick for me.
Zero information ahead of time. This is completely on the fly. We're talking camp. Movies about camp.
Ben Stiller.
Ben
Tony
Stiller.
Perkins.
No, this is not.
Heavyweights.
Yeah, heavyweights. By the way, heavyweights.
There will never be another camp movie, in my opinion, than Heavyweights.
All right, so heavyweights is on the list. It's top 5 easily.
Or it's top 1, but okay.
Well, in this draft, it was number 1 overall. T, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
Am I wrong? But there's a movie called Summer Camp. Was there?
You're going to summer camp? You can have summer camp.
Isn't that the one that's like in the 80s or in the 70s?
That's why I've never heard
Well,
of
there's
this.
Summer School with Mark Harmon.
Not Summer
Kind of
School.
campy. I mean, there's a movie called Summer Camp, but I'll tell you what. Here,
Hold on, is this when someone drafts Chris Jackson and they're like, oh, it's actually Chris Johnson?
it's
You-
Chris.
you
Wait,
list-
Chris with a K or is Chris with a
you
CH?
missed your pick.
I just drafted the wrong Chris Jack. I just wrote the wrong. That's when you would just want to say the name. You just be like, I would just want Chris Jackson, and they're like, which one? You're like, which one do you think I want? Just why don't you tell me the name of the movie that you want to see?
All right, Mr. Summer
for
Camp.
our Seinfeld friends out there. Summer Camp is going number 2. I don't know if that's what you want. I know you're quickly Googling. This is the portion of the show where T Googles.
No, but I got confused. It was Meatballs.
Oh, okay. You took my number
It was
1, and
Meatballs.
that's okay.
And I was, because you sprung it on me. I'm like, what the hell's the name of that movie?
I mean, it's Bill freaking Murray,
had to
guys.
miss-
He
That's
drafted
true.
Summer Camp, by the way.
You drafted Summer Camp.
You took that up
You're
to
the Minnesota
podium.
Vikings.
Roger Goodell just
I'm like,
read
wait,
off
like,
the
"Oh,
name.
What is it? What is it? I'm
You
like,
just
this is
drafted. You're the guy that
This is
drafted like a guy who retired 4 years ago in
Yeah,
fantasy.
exactly,
You're like,
exactly.
I'm gonna go with
Why you
Jeff
sprung it on me?
George.
I'm going with Chris
I
Cooley.
freaked out.
All right, so you drafted Summer Camp, and I drafted Meatballs. Let's talk about Meatballs for a second, because it's
go
Bill
ahead.
Murray, and he's the
Summer
man.
Camp.
All right, so you got Summer Camp, and I got Meatballs. How about I'm gonna go? I mean, how about an entire movie about camping called The Great Outdoors with John Candy and Dan
No,
Aykroyd?
this is it.
That to me
I'm
is
sorry, I screwed up.
by
You can
far
have
the
Meatballs.
greatest camping movie
you go second.
of all time.
You have Meatballs.
All right, I got Meatballs. All right, does that mean you're gonna take Great
Tim, you-
Outdoors?
you actually already have
this
Summer
is the one
Camp.
that I was thinking of.
Which is the one?
The Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer. That is the
That's-
movie. That is the
one I
movie.
was thinking of.
Okay, and that is a
It
top
was not
5.
Meatballs.
That's a top 5. They've been crushing it at the combine. Fast shuttles, big time
Couldn't
cones.
remember the name. Yep.
All right, so it's going to come back to me then at number 4, and I'll go ahead and take Great Outdoors. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd,
That's not a
Cammy.
camp- That's
What do you mean it's not camping? They're at a cabin on the lake.
they're in a cabin. They didn't camp.
All right, I'll
They
tell you
were in
what,
a
T.
cabin.
I'll tell you what.
They're
I'm
not
going to
at
give you.
camp.
Well, first, I'm going to cross off Wet Hot American Summer, and I'm going to go with. All right, how about this? Because this one shouldn't have lasted this long. Oh, and so wait, if Great Outdoors doesn't count, what does Dirty Dancing count? I mean, they're in cabins there.
Yes, that would be. Yes.
Of course it
Dirty
counts.
Dancing.
That was like
Dirty
a camp.
Dancing. I had the time of my life. Patrick Swayze is my
Yeah,
hero.
it's super weird that you just drafted that.
Dirty. Are you kidding me? No, I
No.
had. E.O. Anderson, can you drum up some the time of my life? Some kind of a mix there, so like when I do my vocals, it doesn't sound
I
quite
didn't
so
get
creepy.
two. Are we snaked?
Well, I was the last one.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah. Go ahead, Rhett. What do you
We're
got?
done here?
Actually, I don't. I don't.
You don't
even,
have any more?
I don't even want another one. I would say Camp Nowhere, but I
Camp Nowhere's a thing.
I don't even want another one. I have heavyweights. That's like having
Heavyweights is
Chris
your number
Johnson
one.
2007 on your team. I don't need another pick.
CJ2K.
CJ2K.
You want to go again?
Yeah, sure.
What do you got?
American Pie Bandcamp.
Oh, dude, American Pie 2 was so much better than
Is that where he does Timmy?
Hold on.
Or Stevie?
Petey.
About summer
Petey.
camps.
Yeah,
the
no.
Petey
Well, American Pie Bandcamp was
Petey
an
one.
actual movie about
Petey
Bandcamp.
one. Oh,
no,
right.
no,
Right,
no,
no, I
no,
understand.
no. Once again, you Minnesota Vikings did.
When's he Petey?
It's American Pie 2.
All right, that's what I want.
I knew you would. I knew you did.
I knew it was an American Pie one.
It's American Pie because American Pie Bandcamp becomes like the straight to VHS, and no one even has VHS anymore.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I
But
meant the
American
one
Pie
where he was
2
Stevie.
is a classic.
But it's not about some.
No, they're at Bandcamp is happening during the movie. Like Michelle
They're at-
is a
correct.
counselor at Bandcamp.
Stevie does a heck of a job.
Because Jason
And
Biggs
Jason
goes
Biggs
there
goes and he
wants to
plays
find out more
trombone.
information about how to. Because
Yes, because he's terrible in the
what's
sack.
her name's coming back?
Nadia.
Nadia.
Come on, do I have to go? Do we need to go? all the
Sorry,
way
I
through
got
this movie?
Dancy Bear on my brain.
And you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about Stifler's mom. Heavyweights is out. All right, so you know, there's a couple. And American Pie 2 is out. That are on my Meatballs is out. All right, I got one more here. As a kid, I was a Space Camp fan.
That was a cute movie.
I mean, it's camp.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I know, because dude, screw you. Space Camp. It was a great movie. Some great young actors and actresses.
Is Tim Googling Dancing Bear?
Parent Trap. Now, Parent Trap, here's what I want to know. Do you fall out on the Haley Mills original or the Lindsay Lohan remake? I'm Haley Mills all day long. Love to hear what the board says about that. All right, so we're going to come back next week. We're going to talk about another week at camp.
Are you talking about Dirty Dancing again?
I'm going to have to say yes. I'm going to have to say yes. I don't think we've properly and fully covered it this
We need
week.
Kevin's opinion on Dirty Dancing.
Well, there's going to be some reenactments. Is what you're looking for, what you're going to get. We'll
Wasn't
find out.
Camp Rock the big rage?
Camp Rock was out there, sure.
5 years ago.
It was something, but at the end of the day, it's not. It doesn't have the lasting legacy of some of these movies, like The Parent Trap. I mean, no one said Grease. The whole movie starts about a relationship that began in camp,
If you say
summer
so.
camp.
They in camp?
Tell me more. Tell me more. I mean, it was all about like I met someone over the summer. Maybe it was just at the beach. I thought it was at camp. It could have been at camp. Listen, I'm not an expert on this stuff, guys. And also, and I have it written down here, Greg, just so you know, it's right there. One of the greatest camp movies of all time, Friday the 13th.
Now we're talking.
Now you're
All right.
talking
Now
about
we're
a guy in a hockey mask, so it's sports related, killing kids at camp. And Ernest goes to camp, and Friday the 13th are coming from the board. Greg Martin's Lindsay Lohan all night long. Forget about it, dude. That's just the jersey talking. You need to step away from the jersey just for a second. Just for a second. And think about the greatness of the original movie. We're going to find out about Jamin Davis. We're going to find out about this offense. We're going to hope for no bad headlines between now and then. And we'll have Kevin back, but Rhett will be here. And we're going to do a draft next week, Rhett, and you're going to be involved in it.
Well, thank you for letting me fill in.
You're going to be involved in the draft next week.
Excited to have Kevin back. But
You're
thank you.
here anyway, so when that seat's empty,
Yes.
you might as well fill it.
Well, I don't get to watch the Nationals while I'm up here.
No.
I know, but my whole thing is like, why would someone come all the way here, all the way to this remote location, not to hang out with us, but to watch the game over in the corner? It's kind of weird.
Well,
But actually, but
sometimes the game's more entertaining.
When you
that's
have
not true.
when you have an army of children like Rhett,
No,
that makes total sense.
Army.
we learned a lesson. He's not here to actually watch the game. He's here to take a nap.
Exactly.
We've heard that he's not actually here to watch baseball. We're like, he's like, I'm just gonna watch the game in the corner. We're like, I know you're here.
What better way to fall
He's
asleep
like,
than watching a baseball
going
game?
over to Ken's to hang out for their podcast. Meanwhile, he's like the most well-rested man in Kensington on Wednesdays.
Or in Montgomery County. Yep.
Or in Montgomery County. We'll see you next Tuesday night. Until then, he's Tim Strachan.
Can't wait. Let's keep it going. Let's get some real football going. Kevin's coming back. It's great to see him remote. Glad that we can do that. We've expanded our technical capabilities, and that only means that there's more great things to come, my man.
We are going to have a very, very special show here in the preseason. I want to announce it now at the end of the show when no one's watching. I want to have a couple of our hardcore commenters join us via remote.
Let's get some faces to the names. Now we can finally find out who NES Tecmo is.
Yeah, we're going to find out who NES Tecmo is. We're going to find out what EO Anderson's all about, Greg Martin. So we're going to do a call-in show this preseason. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week or the week after.
Toast to EO, like with EO.
Yes.
That'd be,
Still live. EO says still live.
What would be great, and what I'm looking forward to the most, only because it's across the entire ocean, would be AGH.
Oh, so I think based on our capabilities that we've proven out with Kevin on the Eastern Shore, if Kevin can do it, anyone can do it.
Kevin can do it. Anybody can do it.
I think we should have one of our board people, one of our community on the show every single week for at least one question, a one question segment. Come on, answer the question and get out. That should be every single week. Our people are the coolest people because they're us.
They absolutely are.
All right. So we just made
we
just made a mandate. A mandate every week. We're gonna have
They're part of the show.
We're gonna have somebody from the board video in to our show. How about that? Let's just do it.
See all you guys.
Hey, it is going to be super sweaty. We love Rhett Donnelly.
Ken, Tim, thank you so much.
Of course.
For letting me on here. Got to teach Ken about the dancing bear. Speaking of hardcore.
You're teaching. I don't want to get that on the microphone, but I am aware that. But you have to understand that there is a day and age of when a bear would dance at the circus, and. Yeah. And by the way, Benjamin has said nothing this entire show.
I'm like, Benjamin, help me
out. We talked about Benjamin.
I feel like there's a conversation.
Hey, 48 hours until we have football, boys. 48 hours.
Let's do it.
We'll see you in 7 days. I'm Ken Marangolo. This was, thank God, it's Tuesday. We're still live. And we're 39 days, 14 hours, 39 minutes, and 10 seconds away from Redskins football. /football team /commanders / ?